Chicago, welcome in to the Chicago Sports Podcast presented by Goose Island, the official beer of CHGO. Find one of their Chicago locations at gooseisland.com/locations. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. I am Kevin Kaduk, head of content at CHGO, joined as always by Kacy Standohar, and back again from CHGO Cubs. Busy day for the man, Luke Stuckmeyer. And behind the board, our guy, Lawrence Benedetto.
Everyone's our guy, so it doesn't even feel special when you say that.
Right.
Well, Lawrence is my guy.
It's so annoying. It's like, honestly, we always use that all the time. It's got to stop.
Well, he did that, and now I'm just going to do it all the time.
Now you're going to do that forever.
So
I literally told him yesterday, I'm like, please stop doing that. Now I'm our guy.
Which was the worst thing he could have done.
Our guy.
Hey,
Everyone's
big
our guy.
day here in Chicago. I walked into this office, and I thought, man, I sometimes feel like I live in the Twilight Zone because I've been given this amazing job in this amazing building with amazing people covering sports in the city I love, opportunity of a lifetime. And for the past 18 to 20 months, we've had shitty sports teams filling our days, not doing anything. The Bears are terrible. The Bulls are terrible. The Blackhawks are terrible for the time being. The White Sox are terrible.
But you know what?
Couple hours later, Cubs come in.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is, they're on this, it automatically punches them a ticket, but they put on their big boy pants and pulled off one of the most shocking moves that I can remember. And we're going to talk about this later on today about where this ranks in Chicago stunners. But they cast David Ross aside and bring in Craig Counsell.
Can we just say how rude it is for you to brag about your job on the day that David Ross loses his? Rude.
Canceled.
Wow, that was mean of you.
I think he's going to be okay.
2 days in a row, you're canceled.
He's going to be all right. He's still going to get paid.
He probably made more in his severance check than I will in my entire life. So I think he'll be okay.
It's a shocker though, because not only because we didn't hear that Ross was on the hot seat. You know, there were people in our Cubs chat after every game, before every game, just seeing the lineup that were mad at him. There were people that didn't like the in-game management. Some of them were valid, some of them weren't. So I thought he was going to be on the hot seat early next season.
Yeah, later.
Like if they went and made a big offseason splash, signed some big players, I thought this was the first season that you could have technically said he was being judged by a real team. But that's not what this is about. I don't believe this is about firing David Ross because he wasn't good. I think they still weren't sure. I think Ross would have been back. But once they realized that Counsell would listen to their pitch, they went all in. And it just screams of when they hired Joe Madden, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that the Cubs didn't like Rick Renteria. The difference is that David Ross will always be a Cubs legend because of his time as a player. Rick Renteria wasn't that. And Rick Renteria wasn't necessarily Jed and Theo's buddy, right? David Ross is like their drinking buddy. You know, like this is like firing Eddie Vedder so that you could hire Craig Counsell. Like, right? Like that's how it feels. Like this is one of the three amigos that just got cut at the knees and they're like, listen, winning's what's important. This is what our owner wants. I've got a job to do. I love you, but Craig Counsell's a better manager. We got to go do it. And because they would have needed until it would have been November 1st before the Cubs could have actually talked to Counsell and his agent. Prior to that, they would have had to call the Brewers and said, can we have permission to talk to Craig Counsell? To which the Brewers would have flipped the two David Ross birds and said, absolutely not. So my guess is the Cubs thought to themselves after the season, listen, we know Counsell is going to go out there and test the waters. He went and talked to the Guardians the other day. He's available. We've got to strike with a big, big offer because the Brewers offered him reportedly $5.5 million. Okay. The Mets were reportedly going to do $7 million. The Cubs stop with the Tom Ricketts is cheap. Tom Ricketts ponied up and said, here's $8 million, the biggest contract for any manager in the history of the game. Here's $40 million for the next 5 years. And if you want to live in Wisconsin, go ahead and do that too. We don't care. It's unbelievable. I can't believe they did it. They fired their buddy and they hired the best manager on the market. It's a bold move, and it's a great way to start an offseason, I'll tell you that.
I want to know how Brewers fans are feeling right now.
So I texted one of my best friends who's a
Yeah.
Brewers fan. I took the graphic that we made announcing the news. I sent it to him, and his response was, "I can't believe the Cubs had it in them to fire their mascot."
Wow.
rude.
Wow.
But are they upset?
My
Brewers
buddy
fans,
is.
absolutely. I have another fan who said, "I kind of thought Counsell was on his way, and I kind of shrugged my shoulders. And now when I saw where he went, I am pissed off."
Yeah, it's not that they didn't realize that he was leaving. I think they realized he was going to go, but nobody ever envisioned it was going to be the Cubs. We might as well go up there, cancel walleye season, fish fries, and frozen custard for the next 5 years, and just say, this is it. You guys have none of it, but hey, congratulations on Jordan Love.
Yeah, one of my buddies said he's a Brewers fan in a good email thread or text thread that we do. He said, "F word. I'm so angry he's going to win a World Series with you."
Wow. Bold statement.
Yeah, that's...
But wait, were the Brewers just not willing to keep paying for him? Like, I honestly don't know.
They're not a big market team. Like, they're just not willing to go that high. $5.5 million versus $8 million a year is a huge difference.
Right.
And so I don't think a lot of teams would go $8 million. Well, nobody has ever, but
Right.
even to where the Mets were talking about $7 million, that's a lot of money for a manager. And I said on the Cubs podcast, I don't know. I personally don't believe a manager is worth $8 million a year in baseball. I don't think there's that much difference between an average manager and a great manager that you need to spend $8 million, whereas that could be two nice pieces to your bullpen or whatever it might be. However, in this case, it's $8 million to have the best manager in baseball, and more importantly, free agency starts basically today, and the GM meetings start tomorrow in Arizona. This isn't just signing the best manager in baseball. This is sending a message to all the free agents and all the players out there that are about to have their name bantered around with different teams and maybe get equal deals. This is a message that you send to them. We are for real. We will fire our best friend to get you the best manager you can have. We will give you everything you need to be a champion, and all we care about is winning. It's a huge message, and I don't know if it's the single thing that might push whoever, Cody Bellinger, Shohei Ohtani,
Wow, you said
Aaron
it second.
Nola, Yamamoto, whoever the free agent dream is for you.
I mean, it's Ohtani.
It's Ohtani. This single thing probably isn't, okay, I'm coming here because they got Counsell. No, but if everything's equal, you have to look at them and say, I like their path moving forward. They just won 3 Gold Gloves. They just have the top 5 farm system coming up. They've got boatloads of money. You have the Wrigley Field experience, and by the way, they're giving you the best manager in baseball to lead you to that World Series.
Yeah.
It's a good selling pitch.
We just published a thing from this podcast last Thursday where I said, what are the lessons to take from Texas Rangers winning the World Series? And I said, spend, be aggressive, and spend some more. And now, less than a week later, the Cubs did that. And you kind of talked about, okay, well, what is the upgrade from manager to manager? I think when you look at this, and obviously, I think it shows us what they thought of David Ross, and then obviously to actually get someone who is an absolute market upgrade. It's not like there's a lot of those people where absolutely, if you think that all managers are kind of equal, but that there's 4 to 5 of them that are going to make a big difference, and Craig Counsell is one of them, then you write that check for $40 million. And they just did that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that strikes me about this is Craig Counsell is still a really young dude. What, 52 or 53? I think he's 53 years old.
Kacy, is that young?
Yeah.
He's got...
Sure.
Let's
Wait,
all say yes,
what are you
please.
saying?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay,
As
now.
in what? As a job or as in someone I would date?
No. Oh gosh, I was not going to
No.
be saying like you're amongst
He's
a bunch
not
of old white
60.
people.
They didn't hire Bruce Bochy. They didn't hire
they didn't hire
Dusty
La Russa.
Baker. They didn't hire LaRussa.
Right.
Right.
But, I mean...
He's a young guy.
The whole thing of it is he's got 20 more years at least, right?
Yeah.
If he wants it, of being a top-level baseball manager. And he's looking at, not only was he looking at Milwaukee, but maybe Cleveland.
Yep.
Then also the New York Mets, who have already put a lot of capital into it. He looks at the Cubs, and that was his choice, right? And he's seeing this. Okay, so he must have heard something from the Cubs, some sort of pitch that said, "This is where I want to be. This is where I finally get the World Series championship as a manager." We remember that he has one as a player.
They're not spending $8 million and convincing Craig Counsell this is where he wants to come. If the pitch to him is, so we're thinking about Mancini and Hosmer, okay, as some big moves this offseason, and we might take a flyer on this guy. Craig Counsell's coming here for multiple reasons. One, it's still the Midwest and it's the Chicago Cubs. Two, $40 million, okay? But number three, they had to pitch him on the plan they're going to take this offseason and moving forward. He knows what the farm system thing is because he was in the division. He was close enough. He's seen some of the young players. He knows who he's got, the Steels, the Dansby Swansons, the Nico Horner. He's got a gold glove up the middle. But they also had to tell him what this offseason plan was. And I don't know if they whispered in his ear, Shohei Ohtani, or if they whispered, we're going to trade for Juan Soto and then we're going to sign him to a multi-year deal. I don't know what they whispered to him, but it was enough for Craig Counsell to say, you know what, I don't need to say Big Apple. I don't need to go to Cleveland, and I'm not going back to Milwaukee. That's where I want to go. And so more than anything, more than the manager part, I like the free agency part because I think they had to sell him on their plan, and only a smart guy like Craig Counsell could say, yeah, that sounds like something I'll sign up for 5 years, even if I'm commuting from my house in Wisconsin.
It's only an hour and a half.
Hey, they put him up in Hotel Zachary for the homestands, and then, whenever he wants to go home, he goes home.
That's the Mike Leary style.
Oh, yeah, Big Mike. What
Love
a name
Mike.
drop that is. Mike,
Shout
shout
out
out to Mike Leary.
We love you, Mike.
So let me ask you this, Luke. The last couple of years have been very tumultuous for the Cubs. A lot of strife. The trade deadline of 2021 was tough. You said goodbye to a lot of important players, a lot of Cubs legends, and then 2022 sucked. Yeah. 2023 sucked, then was kind of good, but then also sucked.
Thanks for picking up my spirits.
My point is, do you finally feel like maybe this path is worth it? Has your faith in Jed Hoyer been restored a little here?
I don't think it's enough yet.
Not in the path. Like, this isn't enough to say, yeah, it was worth having to rebuild because we didn't develop enough young players and because we missed on Bryce Harper, which was inexcusable. But it does give me faith in Jed Hoyer and Tom Ricketts in that two things they've done. Number one, they paid Jason Hayward to go away. Another one of he was their buddy, right? They had money. They ate the money, and they said, we love you, but we're going to be a better team if you're not here this year, and we're going to move on. That was big. Mm-hmm. They did that, and I still didn't think they would ever move on from David Ross unless it was like a 100-loss team again, and they were trying to win. They traded Rizzo, their buddy. They let Schwarber walk away for nothing, their buddy. Their prize draft pick, Chris Bryant, they let him walk away. All of those guys, all of those things happened, and I thought, but Ross is a different story. This is the Three Amigos. This is the arms around everybody. Let's go get some Bud Lights and let's go have a time at Murphy's together. Let's hit the road. Let's have fun on the road trip. I never thought they'd be willing to do it for Ross unless they had to. This time, the reason they decided they had to was Craig Counsell. They didn't have to fire. They didn't have to fire Ross. They could still make the argument that Jed Hoyer made in his postseason press conference where he was like, oh, he's a rock star. How about the way he got us through that? We were 10 games under, and then we got back in it, and these players really go for him, and I just love the way he keeps everything even keel, and everybody said all the right things, but all along he was thinking, but if Craig Counsell will take our offer at 2, at 2, Jed, yes, I will go ahead and say bye to David Ross. It gives me faith that they're willing to do the tough thing.
Yeah, absolutely. This week's Taking Care of Business, award powered by ComEd, I'm going to give it to our guy, Jed
Heck
Hoyer.
yeah.
Golf clap for Jed.
I mean, you just touched on a lot of things there in the previous, 10, 15 minutes we've been on the air here. But for Jed Hoyer to come out, and this was the first big move of not only the Cubs off season, but all in Major League Baseball. So to actually lay it down and to go into those GM meetings and then the winter meetings in Nashville next month, it's huge. It's absolutely huge because people know where the Chicago Cubs stand right now. People know that the Chicago Cubs want to win. You don't spend $40 million on a manager if you are not planning on making big moves. So all the credit in the world gives to Jed Hoyer, and maybe he should share it with Tom Ricketts because Tom is finally getting his act together too and opening up that checkbook, and hopefully good things are going to follow. So this week's Taking Care of Business Award, powered by ComEd, goes to Jed and Tom.
I just really feel like, if anything, we don't know enough yet. Craig Counsell's going to be here early next week. Great. I just think, if anything, like you said, Kevin, at the top of the show, it restores fans' faith in just Chicago sports a little bit. Like, everyone's spirits are just like a little bit higher today after everything going on with the Sox.
One side of the city.
Well, yeah. Cody Delmendo floated out of his Jordan 1s during the show today. He literally, his spirit lifted up out of the shoes, and he just floated right out of here.
But even Sean and Adam, who are two of our bigger White Sox fans here, said this is good for the company. So
yeah,
they were willing to admit that. And it's good for the city. There's been too many bad stories, too many down stories, too many disappointments. So that's huge. We're going to talk more about Chicago sports stunners coming up here. But first, CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer since 1988. We all know and love that roster. They've got Oktoberfest, 312, Full Pocket Pills, everything in the Beer Hug family. And upcoming soon is the Bourbon County Brand Stout. We all know the different varietals they have there. Going to bring in and sample some with Luke. I know he likes to sample that high BAC beer.
As long as it's Goose Island, I'm willing to sample. By the way, Cody did a Full Pocket Pilsner for a celebratory Craig Counsell beer bat in 11 seconds on the show.
And he kept it in.
And he did not spit it up. And his mother was watching the show live in studio.
Well, when you need to stock your own beer bats, you can grab your ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Hey, who are the pretenders? Who are the contenders? We're more than halfway through the NFL season, but DraftKings Sportsbook is still pumping out unbeatable offers every single game. New customers can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings isn't stopping there. All new customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Man, there's some good deals out there. I don't know what you guys are thinking for this week. I might weigh a little wager on the Bears Thursday night football game. That's what I'm thinking. Thursday night, I like to look ahead. The Thursday night one is nice because it feels like it just gets you going into the week for NFL. I don't want to wait till Sunday to play something on DraftKings.
I did well last Thursday in Steelers-Titans. Won some bets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, Law hides all this stuff from us, and then he hits big on DraftKings. Do you see him bringing in treats for everybody?
He wagers like $1.32 on each bet.
Did I say I won big?
Yeah,
big enough that you could have brought in.
He's a better at a budget, which is no judgment.
He could have brought in treats, egg sandwiches for everybody, whatever. I'm just saying.
You get like $5 back, and you just like.
Honestly, never mind. Keep going.
Anyways,
get in on penny earned.
Get in on the football action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now. Use the code CHGO. New customers can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 and older. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Zing.
Do we think that the Bears are going to be like inspired by this and they're going to be like, let's go get Jim Harbaugh?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, but I don't know.
I
If
think
you
the
can,
answer is no. But yeah, I like the way you think.
I like Jim Harbaugh. By the way, he is not Craig Counsell because there's a little baggage if you hire Jim Harbaugh at this point, more than there was. Not
the
that I'm
Bears- I
saying
don't
they
think the Bears
shouldn't do
care
it.
about that.
Yeah, not that I'm saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying Craig Counsell has no downside. You're stealing him from your rival team in the division, and he might be the best in the business. I don't know if Harbaugh's that, but I'm
So
I'm
someone
open to
actually
it.
in the chat pointed out that the one of the better parts of this is you also make the Brewers a worse team.
Oh, they lost their GM. They lost their manager.
Yeah, it is kind of like a funny double slap in the face.
And this is, I mean, it's always a good time for the Cubs to really, throw their weight around in the NL Central as by far the biggest market. But now you have the Brewers, kind of in this weird, I don't know where the Brewers reside. You have the Cardinals experience their first rocky patch in seemingly forever.
Yeah.
The Pirates are always incapable of putting a winner on the field. And the Reds are on the upswing, so you actually do have to make, a move against them too. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the coaching staffs play out too, because a lot of people like Tommy Hotovy as the pitching coach for the Cubs, and you like different coaches they just lost Craig Breslow, the director of pitching. But who will come with Craig Counsell? What guys might be leaving Chicago? It's just a new voice. It's nothing against anybody that's here. I want some of those guys to stay. I'd like to see Hotovy stay, but I like the idea of having Craig Counsell's voice in the free agent talks. I like it in the trade talks. I like knowing that he knows the other team in the division that's your rival that just won the division. I like that he knows what they have coming and what might be available in their organization. To me, it's just a win-win. That's why the Cubs had to do it. I'm just surprised they did it.
Do you think that Ross knew about this before the news broke? Will he be disappointed by how it was handled?
Oh, I think he knew before. The reports that I've seen or heard are that he was told last night that he was going to be out. So that makes me believe that while the tweets were out this morning, they started by saying I think it was Ken Rosenthal said the Counsell is going to be hired. He's leaving the Brewers, and it's a team with a current manager.
Right.
The manager, I think, already
That
knew
was
in
one
that
of the
case.
weirdest worded tweets.
That was his
tweets.
way of putting it out without being specific and still trying to beat everybody else to it because Passan was right after it, and then
Why didn't he just say the Cubs were hiring him? What was it? What point of that?
because Jed Hoyer must have said to him, "This is okay, Ken.
Here's a way
We're
around it.
hiring Craig Counsell, but you can't say it for another 10 minutes."
Right.
That's weird.
Right? And I think that may
I
have
like it.
that
It was
may have
cryptic.
that
It was fun.
most likely that's not for David Ross. David Ross knows at that point.
Yeah.
That's so Counsell can tell a handful of people that he may not have told yet at that point. That's what was happening.
Such a wild day. I mean, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I think you guys talked about it on the show. We're all sitting here in the office. We had a pretty full office here on Monday morning.
You guys were very
different
loud during
beats
the
here.
Bears show, by the way.
Well, I mean,
The news was breaking.
News was breaking.
Ryan came in and said, wouldn't it be crazy if Cubs hired Craig Counsell? And we all kind of and then we saw the tweet and everyone started freaking out.
And now
thought it
with
was
the way
fake.
Twitter
I
is,
thought it was fake.
you have to open it up, and the way
Yeah.
to verify it is not by the badge, but the amount of followers. So I saw Ken Rosenthal, 1.4 million. Holy shit, this is real.
Yeah, I ran into your office
Yeah.
and I was like, I think this is happening.
Yeah. So I can't remember as something as, I feel like we were all pretty blindsided. And I think you look at other big moments, and obviously the big shocker moment that comes to mind of, people of a certain age is in 1995 when the I'm back fax came out.
Yeah.
But still, there was a lot of tea leaves leading up to that. Michael Jordan had been working out at the Birdo Center. He'd been seen around. I think he was even on the cover of Sports Illustrated the week before.
Yeah, but I still fainted.
Just
Twitter
I still
wasn't a
lost
thing, but we
consciousness.
still were like,
Yeah.
what?
I remember when the White Sox hired Tony La Russa a couple of years ago. That still came
That
with,
was shocking.
Remember they had a trial balloon
Yeah.
up earlier. Bob Nightingale floated something, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a terrible idea," and everyone said, "Well, this must be a trial balloon," and they want to see how. And then they still did it.
Yeah.
Idiots.
I mean, I feel like maybe the Quenneville firing was a little shocking, but it's obviously different because you replaced him with.
It's not the Quenneville one. Somebody in our chat in the Cubs one had the great comparison. The obvious one is Madden being hired, right? Mm-hmm. And Renteria being let go. This does scream Savvy being let go. The former player, highly thought of, fan favorite as a player, right? And the players liked him. Patrick Kane cried like a baby when they let Savvy go. But you were able to bring in Joe Quenneville, and everybody was like, man, this is the right move.
Right.
No matter, that's the danger in hiring your hero players, right? That it is sort of why I was in a weird way kind of glad that Rhino didn't get the shot with the Cubs, because sooner or later they would have had to have fired Rhino, whether it worked out or not. Joe Madden won the World Series, first time in 108 years. He's gone. But this is very much on line with Dennis Savard being let go by the Blackhawks and Joe Quenneville coming up. Now, this guy Counsell maybe doesn't have the pelts as Joe Quenneville did, and we know everything else that happened.
Right.
That everything that happened after that, forget about it. At the moment that he was hired, it's very similar to this, where I was like, whoa, they got Joe Quenneville?
Right. I think that's a great comparison. I do think that we thought that. Well, maybe we felt the same way that David Ross wasn't the long-term manager. I know we definitely felt that way about Dennis Savard. I don't know, what trades were like shocking trades where maybe we didn't see something coming.
When Rodman came to the Bulls, that was shocking, right? Like one of the most hated guys in the history of the franchise, and it was like, how are they going to replace Horace?
Right.
Dennis Rodman rolls in. All of a sudden, you're like, I love Dennis Rodman. I love the worm. I'm going to color my hair pink tomorrow. So Rodman was one, like, trades that were shocking.
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa for George Bell. I don't know.
No, it's just that
I'm just kidding.
That's too old, right? Like the internet wasn't big enough for.
The internet didn't exist, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
Only in Al Gore's brain.
nothing was.
Well, what sets us apart, though, I
viral.
just think is, one is the quality of the person who is being let go in David Ross, and then two, the quality of the person who is being brought in.
I mean, I'll say
I
feel like the Cutler move was pretty shocking.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that when that hit. Everybody. By the way, as Cody says, credit to me for remembering and admitting this. I was all in. I remember people at my work that day running around, high-fiving, hugging each other. Cody, we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback.
I was at Sky Harbor International Airport, and I was like sitting there going, wait, what just happened? Like testing everyone. And it was like, oh, my God.
I don't remember. Like, how did the John Lester signing break? Was that
big? But I think honestly, the Theo.
I guess maybe Theo's up there too, right?
Theo might be it, because leaving the Red Sox, his team where he wanted.
Didn't he leave like in a gorilla costume, or was that a different thing where everyone was waiting for him?
No, Theo was the one that
he was at Starbucks.
Paul Sullivan saw him at Starbucks in Wrigleyville and is like, I'm reporting I just saw Theo Epstein at a Wrigleyville Starbucks, and it just kind of spread and be like, whatever. He saw him at Starbucks, whatever. Sully, and all of a sudden was like, the Cubs have signed Theo Epstein.
Right.
That, you know what? I'd say Theo's number one, and still is number one, because I never saw that coming, and that was the first time.
And he left the Red Sox to come here.
He left the Red Sox, and that was the first time you were like, whoa, they're serious. Mm-hmm. Even more so than this,
and we didn't think that was even a possibility or something that would happen.
Never. This is more online. Madden was surprising too, but once you had Theo, nothing was unthinkable.
But I think like if we're reading these tea leaves right, this is going to be far from the, we're going to be doing a couple emergency pods
Hope
here.
so.
And hopefully they're at somewhat decent hours, because we know you turn in pretty early, and so do I, and so does Lawrence most of the time.
But I'm also up 10 times a night, so I'm available.
So it got to be all on Kacy to pull it all together.
Exactly.
And we had 1,000 people live at 1:00 in the afternoon for this. So imagine what it's going to be when Shohei signs.
Oh yeah.
in a couple hours.
Oof.
Or agrees.
You guys, that would be so exciting.
Soriano was a big one.
Yeah, Gary asking
Hossa for the
our
Hawks,
good diehard friend Gary Ross asking about Soriano and then Hossa, 2 options as other shockers.
Hossa was a big one.
Yeah. Shocking though, man. Theo, I just remember being like, what? The Starbucks thing is actually true? How did they pull this? Is so it's so un-Cubs,
Right.
right? Like that was the first thing where you're just like, huh? Wow, the Ricketts they're serious. They're not just all talk.
I mean, I'll say this: the Jeremy Roenick Alexa Jamnov trade was a shock to me.
Oh.
I was just thinking about that one. Also, what about Greg Olson? Was that shocking to have him?
I don't so much
Mike
of this
Marks,
now is like
thanks.
That was still before social media. So now
Yeah.
so much of this is framed around the experience of you trying to figure it out from
on Twitter,
looking at
yeah.
Rosenthal to looking at Passan to looking at Bob Nightingale. So much more of it is now not only the news, but the experience of discovering it through the community.
It's probably Theo, LaRussa. Those are up there.
Yeah.
Like even the trades, like trading Jimmy Butler was totally expected in that draft. Like that wasn't unexpected that Jimmy Butler was going to be moved. I'm shocked that they signed Dwayne Wade.
What
But
about
that was for another
Montez Sweat,
reason.
Luke?
Well, that
Shocking.
shocking, but not to the level of this. It's
Khalil
just
Mack,
not.
Greg
little different.
Maddox. These are good
Oh,
ones.
Khalil
Khalil
Mack,
Mack is a
damn.
good one.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack is a good one.
Yeah, Khalil
That's
Mack.
top 3. Khalil Mack. I remember finding that out and being like, holy.
I remember waking up and looking at my phone and I about ran through a wall. Yeah. I felt like Cody did for this, I guess.
Wait till
Probably
they
even
sign
more so.
Shohei. Wait till they sign Shohei and Belly.
So, Luke, you came into CHGO, signed up to cover a Cubs team with Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom. You got to feel pretty good now.
I do feel
20
better.
months later.
I do feel better about things. There are no questions about that.
Remember when you put the Santa costume on and you carted around saying, Correa's coming, everybody.
Correa Christmas
Like,
for
are you
everybody.
going to be doing that for Shohei this year? Do we have to get the suit back on?
If he's available, I think we should ring the bell again. Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes to convince him.
Correa's coming. That was the best.
Show ho 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 hey.
There you go.
Already got it going now.
I love that.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the Bears. Unfortunately, it's not a victory Monday here, but we always talk about Bears here on the Chicago Sports Podcast. But first, I want to tell you about Game Time because you should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event, whether it be a Cubs game next season or maybe a Blackhawks or Bulls game this winter. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and views from your seat. They also have that best price guarantee because Game Time just takes all of the guesswork out of buying tickets. The one thing I really like is they have these flash deals. So in addition to all the money you're saving, you can go on there and they'll just put a specific pair or group of tickets and say this is an additional 10 or 15% off, and they'll kind of float that to the top. Game Time has the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. And again, they have deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. I don't know really anything you have to wait for an hour here in Chicago right now for the prices to drop. But Game Time is the place to find last-minute seats. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Lawrence, you have the map. What does it cost to get into the Bears on Thursday night?
Well, let's take a look. What do you say?
Can I buy for the Cubs spring training opener yet?
Yeah. Is that listed?
Probably.
Can I get a lawn seat?
Bears home games, Panthers.
Sloan Park?
Sit on the berm
Panthers
with your
at
Portillos for Mesa.
Bears. You can
sounds
get
so
in
good right now.
for $70.
$70 all in?
326 row 15. 2 seats together. Let's go.
Bears.
I mean, Bears-Panthers tickets not exactly hot, but if you want to go out there.
Tank Bolt.
I will tell you where you might want to go this Thursday. We're having a watch party at Joe's on Weed Street with Circus Sports, and the special guest will be a Hall of Famer.
Ooh.
War number 54.
Be there, be
Brian
square.
Gerlacher.
Wow.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're also having the tailgate out at Cermak and Wabash, our last tailgate of the season. And if you buy a ticket to that, we'll give you priority access to Joe's, and we'll even give you a ride up there. So
Just come hang out with us.
yeah,
Happy
it's
birthday
a
to
lot
Gary coming
warmer. The vibes will be much better no matter what the Bears do. I am expecting the Bears to win, but I think that's far from a guarantee.
I wish it was still not Halloween. I could have dressed up as Craig Counsell.
You know what?
You could always dress up as Craig Counsell.
Yeah, just do that tomorrow. You kind of look like him.
Wait, who's going to the game with Gary? Is Gary coming to the tailgate? That's my question.
Gary.
Who's going to the
His
game?
birthday. It was your
Care
birthday, Gary.
Bear.
I'll have to wish him a happy
Is
birthday.
this the
on
most
Thursday.
important Bears game of the season?
Absolutely.
Gotta win this one.
Got to be,
Absolutely.
right?
It's a must win.
You have to win it.
I don't think they're important anymore.
Gotta beat the
You've got the
Panthers.
Cardinals losing a lot of games. You've got the New
They
York
have
Giants.
more losses than the Panthers right now. They have one more loss
Cards
than
are
the
1-8.
Panthers. The Bears don't even have the number 1 pick right now.
Right.
So you better deal the Panthers a loss.
You cannot. Yeah, you can't just.
Oh,
you
you gotta
can't
do-
be running up the win totals on both of your picks.
Fields has got to
Because-
play. Fields has to play.
Yeah, and I would assume that he does. I would assume, but I guess with the thumb, you never know, and you don't know how he's going to play.
Remember when, like 2 weeks ago, we had Cole Kmet on the roof doing Craig Counsell's batting stance?
Yes.
That's right.
Oh,
Hello. Social
Literally,
content.
Jake and I were just
What are you
talking about
doing
that.
sitting here? That's a meme
we
or a
had
GIF or
it.
whatever a GIF, whatever they call those
A
things.
meme.
Get it out there.
He had like that crazy.
Yes, that's the same. I suggested that potentially at spring training he may try and convert all of the Cubs players to this whole thing.
Yeah.
He nailed it too. He had it like
Yeah, he did it really good.
spot
So we-
on. That was the Craig Counsell
We
batting
do know
stance. I
that
hated
Casey's
it, by
a
the way.
Cleveland Indians/Guardians fan.
Yes.
Do we know that Craig Counsell scored the game-winning run in Game 7 of the 1997 World Series? Did you know that?
Well, yeah, I did, and I honestly thought he was going to replace Tito.
Oh,
And I'm sad to
I-
lose Terry Francona.
but you're
in
glad that
Cleveland.
Counsell isn't there.
I am. I mean, well, I'm glad for
Maybe
the
David
Cubs
Ross.
because I'm glad for us.
What about David Ross?
I liked Ross. I did, but I felt when that decision was made, it was like that decision of like, oh, we hired our buddy, we hired old boys club type of thing. So I feel like me and a lot of other people were really skeptical. So I'm excited that the Cubs are being bold.
It just hit me. I've got our next T-shirt. Should I say it on the air?
Yes.
Or we don't want anybody to steal it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Maybe hold it.
I don't know.
It's genius. It's genius. That's all I'm
We
going
can
to
talk
say.
about it after.
Oh, it's a good one. It's good.
Also, there
It's
will
good.
be
Get to the
there
CHGO
will
locker
be-
now. Reserve them.
There will be new merch
Yeah, there's hats.
on the
Lids,
website
huh?
very soon that we'll be
Nice.
announcing. They are on there, but we will formally
Okay.
announce.
Happy
Very
holidays to
exciting.
us.
Yeah. Get your Christmas gifts early. Also, at the tailgate / event at Joe's, we're going to be giving away 2 gift cards for X Golf.
Yeah.
Right.
So there are lots of ways to win. We're just giving,
And
we're
it's
in
a
the spirit.
Thursday, so we're not going to have the usual
November.
Sunday crowd.
Give
Your odds are high or higher
to win.
if you come out.
Yeah.
Still going to have the barbecue?
Yeah, Firewater Barbecue,
Oh,
Goose
I'm in.
Island beer,
See ya. Be there.
Ole
Pulled
Pop
pork.
soda.
The pulled pork, please. And double up on the mac and cheese.
So our original, we came in here and we're actually doing today's podcast on Monday instead of the usual Thursday because our Thursday is just so crazy. We're going to be all over the city. But my original thing was I wanted everyone to say something nice about the Bears right now.
Ooh.
Because everyone's bitching about the Bears and whatever. And I realize that it might be a struggle, which is why it made a good topic.
Yeah.
But Luke, what can you say about the Chicago Bears right now that gives you at least some hope for the future?
2 words. Cole Kmet. CHGO's Cole Kmet. How about that? 2 touchdowns.
2 more tutties. That first
I
one
know
was
you're
straight.
happy that he's
Yeah.
on my fantasy team and I played him again?
Didn't care about
14
that.
career touchdowns for the Bears, 4th all time, behind 3 guys. Do you know who the 3 are?
No.
Mike Ditka
Ditka.
with 34.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna
it
go with
might be
Greg
a little bit of a
Olsen.
stretch for
Okay.
Cole to get there.
RoboCop.
Not
Henry
Robocop.
Moorhead.
No,
There you go.
not
Henry Moorhead.
I mean, Olsen,
No.
right? Olsen.
Greg Olsen's
Greg
gotta
Olsen
be,
with
yeah.
20 is number 2.
But who's number 3?
Is there? Is it Martosaurus Rex or no?
If you guys had read the 10 Quick Thoughts newsletter
Yeah, I did.
from Kevin Kaduk this morning,
Who's that?
Well, I
That guy.
saved that for dinner time.
sure.
I always save that for dinner time. It's a highlight of my evening.
Number 3 is Des Clark with 18.
Des Clark.
Yeah, good guy.
Loved it.
Wow, he is a good guy.
All right, I have mine.
Okay.
My nice thing about the Bears. I still have faith in Kevin Warren.
Okay.
Also, him in that photo with Braggs on Twitter at that dinner with his tie loosened up. I was like,
Oh, boy.
We've
Kevin-
never gotten the story about that, have we?
Kevin Warren looks like he has a good time.
I don't think he's allowed to. I don't think Braggs
K-Dub.
is allowed to talk about it.
K-Dub looks like a fun guy. I mean, he tweeted it, so what do you mean he's not allowed to talk about it?
What the hell does that
Hey,
mean?
listen, I don't
It's
care if
out
he's a
there.
nice guy. You know what I actually liked about the Bears? I drove by Arlington Park this last weekend. They've started demolishing the old Ditkas, trackside place. It's leveled. Man, that place is primed for a Bears stadium. I don't care what Kevin Warren says. They're still going there.
Yeah, there's no way.
They're still going
No
there,
way.
and it's going to be beautiful.
You say there's no way they're going there.
No, there's no way that they're not.
They're going
Yeah.
there. They're leveling everything. Everything. The grandstand's gone. The restaurant's gone.
Well, I hate the argument of like, well, you have to call them the Arlington Heights Bears. No, you don't. There's teams that play in
Right.
the Dallas Cowboys. They play in
Cowboys.
Arlington.
The
It's not
Patriots
Arlington
playing
Cowboys.
Foxborough.
Yeah,
It's not an
the
argument.
Jets and Giants playing Jersey. Yeah,
Magnus,
yeah.
Magnus's
New York.
optimistic thing about the Bears is they didn't go winless this year. There, LOL.
There we
I
go.
agree.
What's yours, Kev?
I think that they just have some good pieces in place. Cole Kmet is one. Darnell Wright is another. Montez Sweat. You know, he did come at a high price, but that is a type of player you need in your building. And we look at right now. You look at the NFL. There's not a lot of great teams, and you look at the difference from where the Bears sit right now with the third pick, and really, I mean, there's so many teams with 3, 4, 5 wins, right, and not even over 500. And like one player can really make a difference. Does this Bears season look different right now if Montez Sweat is on the Bears wearing a Bears uniform in Tampa Bay or against the Broncos? Or against the Vikings? How much difference does it look? So even though you've had so many things go against you, even though you've had a lot of bad injuries this year, the Bears still were in a lot of games, and you are getting the type of difference makers who may be able to swing those games in a year or two.
They've set themselves up to still have plenty of money. I heard Hub Arkish, which was great to hear on the radio, say that he was surprised to find out the Bears right now are on the path to still have, even with the Sweat signing, the most money in free agency this coming off season. Mm-hmm. Plus, they may have 2 top 5 first-round picks. We don't know what, maybe Fields comes back and overwhelms them and tells them they don't need a quarterback. Now you have a wealth of poker chips to play with. And I do like Gordon. I still like Brisker. I don't know if Jalen Johnson's going to be worth paying that money to, but I agree, they do have some pieces.
Right.
They do have some pieces, and they have the type of poker chips moving forward that should help turn that around. Now, we've been saying that for a couple years, and you're still going to miss on some of those moves, as they have. But if you can get the majority of them right and hit right, hopefully Sweat's one of those guys, then, yeah, I have faith because the division's not.
To flip to the negative side, the reason we feel so badly day after day and week after week as Bears fans is we don't feel confident about the coaches,
Yep.
and we cannot feel confident about the quarterbacking situation right now.
And you're still up in the air about the GM. I mean, that's a C grade at best. You can't do anything else. Say a C.
I'm for continuity in that position.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think,
Yeah.
so like you have to give, last year was about tearing it down. This year he made decisions. It's going to be at least a 5-year process, probably longer with polls, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's like Casey's age.
He is like the Cubs. He does seem willing to make the tough decision. Now, maybe he swings a little too wild, but he has walked away from some guys, and he did just draft these 2 defensive linemen that so far I'm not too excited about.
Right.
They don't even play.
So did he look at that and say, you know what? I screwed this up. I'm going to go get Montez Sweat because
Right.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to draft that guy. At least I can look at this guy and say, he may not be Julius Peppers. He's never going to be Julius Peppers. But if we can get a guy that's going to give us consistent play, he's worth that price tag in today's NFL. So that part I like about him.
Yeah, and you probably do feel good about the corners that you drafted in Gordon and Stevenson, and that makes it maybe a little bit more palatable to maybe getting rid of Jalen Johnson and not meeting his number, whatever that may be. So Dr. Professor says, hasn't walked away from Bayless, though. I completely agree.
Yes.
Anyone who was here in the building yesterday just heard me yelling about Bayless all day long. So
Why is he still here?
It's unbelievable.
You want to say things to be positive about? That's one of the most mind-numbing things. Now, that's a guy he hasn't been willing to walk away from. Why?
And Flus got up there last
Show me a
week
play
and said,
that he's done that has been good.
Flus said we are an organization that holds people accountable on the field and off.
No.
And that may be true in the case of Alan Williams and David Walker off the field. It certainly isn't true for Velus Jones Jr. on the field.
They must see something in him.
It must be his love of candy corn.
That's what it is.
I don't know.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? If you are, then we have some great news for you. Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fox Lake have just joined the CHGO team. At Ray CDJR, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and find unforgettable savings. And right now, during Ram Power Days at Ray CDJR, only in Fox Lake, you'll be able to secure 0% financing or 17% off new Ram models. That's not all. You can explore their newly renovated showroom and take advantage of limited time 7-year anniversary savings. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com today. Serving the community since 1963.
Ram Power Days. Yeah, you know what else? Go get that new car, and then while you're at it and you're sitting in the dealership finalizing the deal, throw down the Die Hard card. Say, by the way, these are my people too, and I'm a Die Hard. You get the Die Hard card as part of the Die Hard membership here at CHGO. You also get the premium written content for members at allchgo.com. For instance, Ryan Herrera heading out to cover Craig Counsell's hiring at the GM meetings starting tomorrow in Arizona. It's going to be the buzz of the GM meetings. That's when the deals start to come down. Sometimes the groundwork for a big deal that comes in the winter meetings in Nashville is often laid at these GM meetings the next couple of days. Yeah. So don't miss any of Ryan's work at allchgo.com. You'll never miss it if you're a diehard. You also get 20% off all our events, including, for instance, the tailgate on Thursday. You get 20% off all of our dope merch. Again, I just came up with a shirt that you're going to want to get everybody for the holidays. Instantly, it's going to be the gift that your friends and family will be talking about for years to come. You get a free shirt when you become a member. Maybe that's the free shirt or the meatball one. I got to tell you, I'm getting the orange meatball one. That's the next one I'm purchasing. And don't forget the members only Discord, which has been flying with crazy people on it today. The Cubs Discord, wow, wild, wild, wild. And don't forget the tailgates, as Kacy mentioned earlier, including Thursday, X Golf giving away a $200 gift certificate to any of their Chicagoland locations. Find the X Golf nearest you and play by searching playxgolf.com/Chicagoland. That is playxgolf.com/Chicagoland. That is a good time, and you can do it all year round.
All right. What a Monday it's been here at the CHGO studios.
I think it's great. It was a good day.
It was a good day.
Today was
might
a
not
good
be
day.
over.
Play the Ice Cube. Can we play Ice Cube? Is that okay?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
No, we can't
That
do
would
that.
be,
But everybody's thinking it in their
Next.
head. It's as good as playing it.
There you go.
No
right.
trademarking issues there.
Well, Luke, like you mentioned, Ryan will be at the GM meetings this week. Also, Vinny Duber will be there to chronicle whatever the Sox, Chris Getz's, first days on the job there. And we're planning on going down to winter meetings in Nashville, too. So that's going to be an even bigger group. Jake Flanagan is booking the trips as we speak.
Hey-o.
So going to be a good time.
Good luck with all that.
Could be my first winter meeting experience.
It's, it's a little
Very
weird.
exciting.
It's at this like gigantic hotel. There's a lot of walking.
Or Nashville for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's when David Ross, when they signed Bellinger last year, was swearing on ESPN. They're like, hey, by the way, you guys signed Bellinger. He's like, what? Had no idea. This time it's going to be Craig Counsell. Hey, you guys just signed Ohtani. What?
Today was a different sort of shocker for David Ross.
Yeah, it was.
R.I.P.
Wish him well, by the way. Can we stop with the Grandpa Rossy villain storyline just because you didn't like him maybe as a manager? And can we go back to the guy that was carried off on the shoulders and went on Dancing with the Stars? Let's remember that guy.
I mean, they could always
Did
just
he
do
dance
what.
on Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When
Second
was he
place,
a
I believe.
contestant? I don't remember
Right
that at
after the
all.
World Series.
Was he second place?
It was right
I
after
think
the
he
World
was
Series,
second. He was on SNL. He took his shirt off
Who
and
was
wore a
he
vest on
partnered
SNL
with?
with
I used to
Rizzo
love
and
that
Hayward.
show.
Clearly not. Case.
I got to go back.
Go back and watch it. Yeah, he was terrible, but yeah, in fact, he doesn't like people bringing it up anymore.
If he gets on the Dennis Savard plan, though, they'll just park him at some Binnie's signing autographs.
The only people that are good on that show that are athletes are the football players. That's it, because they're good at dancing.
Yeah, my
Nimble.
wife watches it.
My wife
Adrian,
watches
what's
that
his
now.
name? Adrian Peterson wasn't that great.
Greg
Who
Brady's
was the
on it.
Steeler
now.
player that won?
I don't know. Emmett Smith won, didn't he?
Yes, but also there was a
Didn't Heinz Ward win it?
Yes,
Heinz
that's who I
Ward,
was
yeah,
thinking
Heinz
of.
Ward.
Yeah. Oh, I
Anyways,
love
yeah, Rossy
DWTS.
didn't win, but I
Terrell
believe he
Owens
was.
on it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Theo.
We're just sitting here remembering some Dancing with the Stars.
Who's the local
contestant.
basketball kid? A high school kid. I watched him commit to play college.
John Shire.
No, he
No.
Mon Shumpert won.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think Iman
Shumpert.
Shumpert
Yeah,
won.
he was good. He was good. Okay, that's all.
Anyways,
All
terrible
right.
show.
We'll see you out at Joe's on Weed Thursday night for the Chicago CHGO Circus Sports Watch Party with Brian Urlacher. And we'll be back here a week from Thursday for the Chicago Sports Podcast. For Kacy Standohar, Luke Stuckmeyer, and our guy, Lawrence Benedetto, I'm Kevin Kaduk. We'll see you next time.
Craig Counsell.
We all silly like the mayor.